When you hear the name Frankenstein, what comes to mind? Probably lightning, a creepy castle, maybe a big, lumbering monster with bolts in his neck, right? But if that's all you see, you're missing the real genius of Mary Shelley's novel. We're going to peel back the layers and get to the core of this story, which is really this incredibly deep, tragic look at creation, rejection, and, well, what it even means to be human. So let's just jump right in with a big question, the one that Shelley basically builds the whole book around. What makes a monster? I mean, is it how you look, where you come from, or is it about what you do? And here's the thing, Shelley's novel has a pretty clear answer. It suggests that monsters aren't born, they're made. They're created out of loneliness and just brutal rejection. So to really get the tragedy here, we have to figure out who's doing the rejecting, who's getting rejected, and most importantly, why. All right, section 1, a stranger on the ice. The outer frame. So the weird thing about this book is that it kind of starts near the end. We're thrown onto this ship in the middle of the Arctic with a captain named Robert Walton. He's this super ambitious guy sailing through, just ice and snow everywhere. And it's out here in the middle of nowhere that they pull this desperate half-frozen guy out of the water. And this guy, it turns out, isn't just some random explorer. It's Victor Frankenstein. And the first thing he does is basically give Captain Walton this chilling warning. He says, "You seek for knowledge and wisdom as I once did." He sees himself in Walton, that same dangerous ambition. And that's our way in. He starts telling his story, which is really a cautionary tale. It's a classic story within a story setup. Okay, so now we're peeling back that first layer. Section 2, the modern Prometheus's sin. This is the creator's story. We're diving into Victor's backstory, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride of genius, obsession, and, just casually messing with the laws of life and death. So what makes Victor tick? Well, a couple of things are going on. First, his mother dies, and that grief, it just completely drives him. He becomes obsessed with beating death itself. And second, you've got his ego, his hubris. He's got this total conviction that he can, and should, figure out the secret to life. He gets so consumed by this that he's hanging out in graveyards and morgues, completely ignoring the massive ethical red flags waving in his face. And this is where it all goes wrong. In his head, he's creating this perfect being. He literally handpicks what he thinks are beautiful features. He's imagining a masterpiece. But the reality? When he flips the switch, so to speak, what he gets is, well, a nightmare. The skin is yellow, the eyes are watery, it's a horror show. The dream he had just completely shatters. And listen to this quote. "Breathless horror and disgust filled my heart. This, right here, is the key moment." The real sin of the novel isn't playing God, it's the abandonment. The second his creation comes to life and reaches out to him, Victor just bails. He runs away in disgust. He doesn't give it a name, he doesn't offer it any comfort, nothing. He just rejects it completely. Now for section 3, the monster demands to speak. This is the core story. We're getting to the absolute heart of the book now. After being alone and miserable for months, the creature, as we'll call him, finally tracks Victor down. And in this amazing twist, he demands to tell his side of the story. The whole perspective flips, and we finally get to hear from him directly. And wow, what a story it is. Turns out he didn't start out as a monster at all. He was like a blank slate, totally innocent. He actually learns about love and family by secretly watching this family, the DeLacy's. He teaches himself to speak and read, and then he gets into heavy stuff like Paradise Lost and starts having this existential crisis, right? He's like, who am I? Am I Adam, the first man, or am I Satan, the angel kicked out of heaven? Pretty deep stuff for a guy who's been alive for like a year. And this quote sums up his whole argument perfectly. "I was benevolent and good, misery made me a fiend." It's the ultimate nurture versus nature debate. He's basically saying, hey, I wasn't born bad. You all made me this way. He claims his evil actions are a direct result of everyone, especially his own creator, treating him with nothing but cruelty. His rage comes from his pain. But Victor, he just can't see it. He can't get past the looks. Just check out the difference in how they talk. Victor calls him a vile insect. But the creature, he's talking on a whole other level. He's using the language of the Bible, of God and Adam. He's saying, "You're my creator. You have a duty to me." This isn't some mindless beast. This is a son demanding his deadbeat dad take some responsibility. So what does he want? It's actually pretty simple when you think about it. He just wants to not be alone anymore. He's not asking to be part of society. He knows that ship has sailed. All he wants is a companion, a female just like him, so he can finally have a connection. And he promises if Victor does this one thing, they'll just disappear and never bother anyone again. Okay, Section 4, A Vow of Vengeance, The Unraveling. Believe it or not, Victor actually agrees. He's moved by the story and, let's be real, he's scared for his family. But as he starts building this second creature, he finally starts to think about the consequences. It's a little, too late, and it leads to the story's big, tragic turning point. So all of a sudden, Victor's brain starts working. He's asking all the questions he should have asked the first time around. Like, what if she has her own ideas? What if she doesn't like the deal? What if they have kids and create a race of devils? He's finally grappling with his responsibility, questioning if he even has the right to do this. And while he's having this moral crisis, the creature is literally watching through the window. And in a moment of sheer panic, Victor destroys the second creature, tearing it apart. For the creature, that's it. That's the last straw. All his hope is gone, and his pain just crystallizes into pure rage. And he delivers one of the most chilling lines in literature. I shall be with you on your wedding night. And he's not kidding. His revenge is methodical. He doesn't just want to kill Victor. No, that would be too easy. He wants to make Victor feel exactly what he's felt, total, crushing loneliness. So he goes after everyone Victor loves. He kills his little brother William, he frames an innocent girl, Justine, for it, he murders Victor's best friend, Clerval, and then he makes good on his promise and kills Elizabeth, Victor's new wife, on their wedding night. It's brutal. So, Section 5, An Inseparable Tragic Bond. The final frame. And that brings us full circle, back to the ice. This obsessive cat-and-mouse game has led them both to the edge of the world. At this point, their entire lives are just about each other. Their whole existence is defined by this mutual hatred. And it's there, on Captain Walton's ship, that Victor finally dies. But even with his last breath, he's not sorry for abandoning his creation. No, he's trying to get Walton to promise to continue the hunt. His whole life just boiled down to destroying the thing he himself made. Then Walton finds the creature, crying over Victor's dead body. And you realize, with a shock, that he's lost something profound. Victor was his whole world, his creator, his enemy, the only person who knew what he truly was. With Victor gone, that connection, even a hateful one, is just gone. It becomes so clear in that moment how dependent they were on each other. Their bond, built on hatred, could only be broken by death. And with Victor gone, the creature has no reason to live anymore. Who is he supposed to hate? Who is he supposed to make suffer? So he just disappears into the darkness, planning to end his own life. So we're left with this final massive question. The book constantly compares the creature to Adam, right? But an Adam who got kicked out of the garden for literally no reason. If that's true, then what does that make Victor Frankenstein? He's not just some scientist who messed up. He's a creator who rejected his creation, a father who abandoned his child, a negligent god. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What's the bigger crime? Creating a so-called monster or abandoning a being to a world that guarantees it'll become one?